So I said something totally normal like, Christ is king, however, Hyrule is fictional, and they have the three goddesses who made Hyrule. There isn't Christ in the game, never was. And somehow that turned into a full-blown meltdown. John F. Trent from Fandom Pulse accused me of gaslighting, moving the goalpost, and lying about Nintendo scrubbing the Bible from the original game. And to make things even dumber, this all started because of a simple casting announcement. Nintendo posted the Zelda movie cast, and Trent replied with this: "Will Link be a practicing Christian in the live-action film?" I thought that was a little cringe of a thing to ask, so I quote tweeted it with that Christ is King line to acknowledge my own faith, but also to remind everyone that Zelda has its own mythology. I didn't expect to get dragged into a religious lore war over a pixelated video game from 1986. If you played any Zelda game past Ocarina of Time, you would know that the lore centers around the three goddesses who created the world of Hyrule. They gave birth to the Triforce, and they kicked off this whole Hero of Time cycle. That's the canon, alright? That's what the games have reinforced again and again, from Skyward Sword to Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, you name it. So when I said there isn't Christ in the game, never was, I wasn't saying Zelda never had religious imagery. I was saying Christ, as in Christianity, isn't part of the Zelda mythos. But Trent jumped on that tweet like I'd personally insulted the Pope. So he posted this screenshot of this Bible item from the original NES Zelda, the Japanese version, and said, "You're wrong, the Bible is clearly in the game and was scrubbed by Nintendo of America," and that's where the firestorm began. Here's the part that makes zero sense. I actually agreed with him. I said, yeah, early Japanese versions of Zelda did have Christian references, basically. The Book of Magic, which is what it was changed to in North America, was a Bible in Japan. It even looks like a Bible. There's crosses on Link's shield, there's crosses on headstones, all of that. But that doesn't mean Zelda's story was ever about Christianity. That was just early 8-bit fantasy design. And that's a trope that lots of Japanese games had at the time back then. So I said, hey, the current accepted Zelda mythology essentially is based on the three golden goddesses. That canon has been solid since the N64 era. I mean, we're going nearly 30 years of canon. And that's not a dodge, okay? That's literally what Nintendo has committed to. Every major Zelda game, every major timeline explanation, even the Hyrule Historia, the actual book itself, backs that up. But that wasn't enough to him. He decided to get snarky with me, which was surprising. I've always had good conversations with John F. Trent. He flat out just goes, "It was the Bible. Do not gaslight me. Do not move the goalpost." Like I'm out here running some kind of Nintendo deep state conspiracy theory, right? So I clarify. Nintendo moved the goalpost, not me. The item has literally been changed. It's now just called the Book of Magic. And there's no change in that. So he fired back again, saying I'm being dishonest and that the Bible was scrubbed to remove Christianity from the franchise, essentially. Which, yeah, Nintendo had a lot of Western localization policy back in the day. That was before the set lore was even created. In 1986, there was no background, there was no story about Triforces and golden goddesses and whatever, okay? They didn't have a set lore. So at this point, with the way he was acting, I realized that this isn't about the game anymore. He doesn't care about Legend of Zelda. This is about narrative control, just like the whole Goonergate conspiracy that him and his friends went all nutto over. I tried to be fair, and I said, yeah, okay, stylized, right? I said stylized in my original tweet, and maybe that wasn't the perfect word, but the point stands, right? That specific Bible item is gone. It's not canon. It's not canon. It's not canon. It's not part of Zelda's modern mythology. Instead of acknowledging that nuance, though, he tells me that I'm being dishonest, that I can't even be honest with myself, and that there's nothing further to discuss. And then he rage quit the entire conversation and ends up unfollowing me. Big yikes. Dude went from, is Link a Christian, to you're a liar who hates the truth in under an hour. Like, this was literally like a 10-minute conversation. What blows my mind is I never even attacked his religion. I never disrespected his beliefs. I literally even said Christ is king and acknowledged that Jesus is my savior. And I literally agreed with part of what he said, that it was a Bible and then it was changed and it's no longer canon. I wasn't just gonna sit here and pretend that Tears of the Kingdom is secretly a Bible study tool. Well, here's why I think this hit a nerve, right? Because this is part of a bigger thing that is happening in gaming right now. People are trying to rewrite the past to fit an agenda. You know, whether it's denying early Christian elements ever existed or pretending modern Zelda is secretly Christian lore, it's all the same energy. All right, it's not about what's in the actual game, it's about who controls the interpretation of it. Nintendo has been very intentional about the Zelda mythos, guys. They built their own creation story with the three goddesses. They made their own gods, their own heaven, their own reincarnation cycles. It's not Christian, it's literally fictional religion. That's the whole concept behind the Legend of Zelda. Now, that doesn't mean that Christianity was never visually referenced, okay? We literally have crosses on the shield, on the Book of Magic, on headstones, but it does mean that it's not canon anymore. It's not coming back. And if they shoehorn that into the movie, that's a massive lore break, which was my whole point. And it won't just upset atheists or non-Christians if there's some kind of Christianity reference in there. It'll upset actual Zelda fans who care about the source material, who care about the story that they followed for decades. So here's where I'll leave it. Yes, in the original Zelda, at least in the Japan version, the Book of Magic was literally called the Bible. That's real, but it's not anymore. Nintendo moved on quickly from that. They made a consistent mythology that lasted 30 plus years. That's not censorship. That's not scrubbing Christianity. That's storytelling. So the only person moving goalposts here in the situation wasn't me. It was John F. Trent. So let me ask you these guys. Should the Zelda movie, to bring back that old Christian symbolism and make Link a practicing Christian like John F. Trent wants, or would that completely shatter the canon that they've built since then? I think it'll shatter it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in Christianity and I'm a liar and I'm not facing the truth like John F. Trent tried to paint. That's almost unhinged of him. That's Mercante levels. Do journos do this type of stuff all the time? Twist people's words? Comment down below, like the video if you're tired of people rewriting gaming history, and subscribe for more real talk like this. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch my last video where I break down how a used copy of Bayonetta 3 permanently banned somebody's Switch 2 from going online. Yeah, that's a whole different level of insane. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one, guys.